Hey there, my friends. This is Dave Wood, and this is going to be a relatively short video. And this video really is a part two towards my friend Chris Rushlow. I did a video earlier on today that was, I read a thing that he sent me that I thought was, had some good feedback and was really what the purpose of this video is. If you believe something and you don't take action, really believe. I think the answer is no. And I think that a lot of people would agree with that. I don't know that everybody would agree with that. I think some people would say, "Oh, you can have faith and just have faith." Maybe you can, but maybe it's dead faith. You know what I mean? And what's this got to do with this last conversation with Chris Rushlow? Well, my buddy, he sent me this thing. And he said in there, "I believe you've lost your mind." That's what he said. So his way of dealing with that. Now, I'll tell you the truth. There was a time when this guy was going and he was in a cult, and we were in Fairbanks, Alaska. And, he told me that he's going down to this lady's house, and he described it to me. I said, "That sounds like a cult, man." And there's this lady, she was like a witch, and they were going to, so I thought he'd gone a little bit crazy. I thought he was out of his mind. You know what I told him? I said, "Hey, man, I love you no matter what you believe." Quite different than the way that many people have treated me. He said something else to me. He said, and I just wanted to mention this. He says, "I won't even read your response. I've suffered enough." Not as much as I have. Of my consciousness has exceeded by a long shot. So I was alone for thousands of trillions of years. My consciousness that did that. I don't care if you believe it. It was not fun. Who I was with, and I never. Some knowledge from past lives come, before my enlightenment. And then I had the real knowledge come. So here's the thing. I believe something. I believe something that's very important to humanity, that all of you, without exception, have been ignoring. You have not been heeding my messages. You've not been heeding my warnings. You have not truly been listening to anything that I've been saying. Many of you. There's a few that this is not true of. And it's unfortunate. But this is how the prophets have always been treated. But I believe something. So even though it is to my detriment, personally, to continue for a time, it's in my detriment. Not always. I continue. And why do I continue? Because it's the right thing to do, and my ethics won't allow me to do anything different. So here's my point. Many of you believe I'm nuts. And one part of me has gotten sick of hearing about it. Another part is just like, well, it is what it is. They think whatever they think. And none of you that think that have to pick up the phone and call me Talk through any of your concerns with me. Or do anything about it. Such as, for example, saying, this is the easiest way to do it. You know what, Dave? I could have helped you out for this last year, and you really helped me out like more than anybody else ever helped me out. There are people that owe you, Dave. Like people like Tony Rush, Dave Sharp, Vic Strizhouse, Lawrence Tam, Tracy Walker, Paul Hutchings, Mike Hobbs. There's a lot of people that owe you. Why can't you pick up the phone and call them? And why can't they send you $10,000 or something to help you get started properly? And, I said, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's okay. I can get back on my feet without them. But finally, I'm having some people reach out to do some help in certain ways, which is useful. The person that has criticized me is willing to put their theories to the test. Not one of them. Not a single one of them. No matter the excuse, it's an excuse. If you believe something and you don't do something about it, your belief ain't nothing. It's the truth. I believe something, so I'm doing something about it when nobody supports me in it. I say my brother does. He at least, lets me chill out back here and make my videos and stuff like this. My rants and my raves and my podcasts and stuff like that a few people are listening to, it is what it is. And so I find that interesting. For a long time, I grew up thinking that the way that we're treating the environment is going to end life on the earth. I've thought that my whole life. Never did I not think that. I've thought it since I've been a child. The way we're treating the environment will end all life on earth. Never in my life did I really do anything about it. Now I'm trying. And I've got good plans. Way better than anybody else's plans. We need all the plans together to work, but they're just better. I used to be mad at the central banks, and I used to watch conspiracy videos, and then I stopped watching them after a while because I found them negative. I don't want to get mad anymore. And I never thought of a way, other than just telling people about it, to really change the system and take it away from the enemy. And now I know how to do it. And now I've got a plan. Faith without works is dead, being alone. There's all these stories of prophets. The majority of them rejected. Usually they're not rejected forever. Sometimes they are. Usually what happens is they're rejected and 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 they're rejected. And then all of a sudden people begin to believe and figure out their message. Such is the case with people like, for example, David Icke. right? There's other prophets that had their messages received more quickly, such as in the case of Joseph Smith. There's other people that struggled with them for a while, such as in the case with Buddha. And the reality is that there's a day when the time of my message will come. It's too far ahead of any of your thinking. And show them that there is a better way. My old friends, they're not ready to do anything about any of the problems they see around themselves, other than making money. I was talking to a friend of mine, he said, all people care about is leads and sales for their business. And that's true. And this is the problem with humanity. The problem with humanity is that we are focused on money above people. The problem with humanity is that we have lost our way. We don't look at the stars anymore. When was the last time you just went outside, laid on your back, and stared at the stars for 4 hours? Or that you've taken a walk at night just to enjoy the wilderness. Humanity is lost. If this is all that we're going to focus on, the same old thing is all we're going to create. We're lost in slavery. What do I mean? We're enslaved to the banking system. We're enslaved to the society system. We're enslaved to our own technology. We're enslaved to our own behaviors that we can't break free from for some reason. And we don't know why we can't break free, except for the fact that we're not paying attention to ourselves. Like what I used to do. I used to help people at the expense of myself, which still in this last year, believe it or not, is exactly what I've been doing. I helped many people at the expense of myself. I helped many leaders at the expense of myself. I helped many people change at the expense of myself. I won't do that anymore. Because I've learned a better way. None of us know that. Something else my buddy said, and I want to mention it. He said, I've had enough of this nightmare. Like this has even been a nightmare for him. Not yet, it hasn't. I've been warning and warning and warning you about the nightmare that is coming. I'm warning you about it. It is going to be the most dark, evil thing any of you have ever experienced. And many of you, the Christians, you're waiting for a rapture to come save you out of great tribulation, which is not what happens. At the end, it does. when you're caught up in the clouds as the wicked are destroyed and your time is set and the chosen are chosen. But that's not the dark part. That's the cool part. The dark part is what the various antichrists will do to people who do not get the mark of the beast, to try to force them to get it. The dark part is what's going to be happening to people who choose the wrong way. You cannot run from these problems forever, my friends. You can run for a time. But I'm telling you, we can't run anymore. We can't run from the way we're treating animals anymore. We can't run from the way we're treating our friends anymore. We can't run from the way we're treating our spouses anymore. We can't run from the way that we're enslaved anymore. You know what it's going to lead to, my friends? A complete and utter demolition of the U.S. economy if we don't repent. That means we have to change. If we don't change, the U.S. economy will be demolished by slavery and the central banking system. I'm telling you guys, there will be worse things coming than the Nazi concentration camps. They will be far worse. Way worse. Worse than you can imagine. People you love will be in there. Because they are not hearkening my words. Because they're not paying their tithing. Because they're not giving. Many people won't be able to eat during times. All over the world. There will be famines and wars and weird monsters and zombies and things like vampires and genetically modified human freak shows. And there will also be beautiful, the righteous. There will be the holy. There will be the powerful. There will be the translated beings. So on the one side, it will be beautiful. On the other side, it will be incredibly dark. And nobody wants to hear it because it's the truth. Nobody wants to do anything about it. You know, how many Christians out there, for example, they know the Great Tribulation is coming, and the only thing they do about it is pray that they're going to be in the rapture, not ever questioning where that doctrine came from. Not ever preparing in case that actually doesn't happen at all. You know, that doctrine was actually started by a witch in England, Christians. The mid-1800s or something like that. Nobody ever believed in that before then. It's an assumption that is erroneous assumptions based on scriptures that people are twisting to try to find something that supports their fanciful, lofted up, bullshit view of reality. That God is just going to come save them out of darkness without them doing anything about it, when faith without works is dead. I'm telling you, there's going to be weirder stuff than that. None of us are ready. None of us are positioned correctly. None of us understand what we have to do together. I could have helped you guys with disaster planning over this last year. I could have helped you with so many things. It's beyond your imagination. But you would not receive it because they're so caught up with rejection of the truth. Nothing will be a bigger nightmare to people than what's going to happen to them over the long haul for rejecting my message. There's no forgiveness of it. You just gotta change. You gotta hearken my warnings. It'll save your businesses. It'll save your house. It'll save your life. It'll prevent your family from being captured and thrown into concentration camps. You know, there's a little conspiracy theory that said for a long time that the elite are planning on this mass concentration camp thing. And there's concentration camp structures built all over the place in the United States. And I don't know that all of what people say about it is true, but a lot of it is. And we've seen what happened in Nazi Germany. I'm telling you, it's going to be way worse than that. Why? Because we have better technology today. And there's more wickedness today. And our little strategies of hiding in our homes while evil billionaires are stealing the wealth of society is not what God wants us to do. Faith without works is dead being alone. You know, occasionally I have some idiot in the comments who accuses me of being a scam artist with this stuff, and it's like, if I wanted to scam people, why would I be talking about this? Like, have you ever thought about that? I'd be talking about something other than this. I promise you that. You know, in some ways, that would not be a bad idea to talk about something else for business. For as far as how people perceive my personal brand. However, there's nothing more important that I can talk about. There's nothing more important. Because I'm teaching you the truth. I'm teaching you how the universe works. I'm teaching you things that can be used to build celestial technology. I'm teaching you how to think in new ways. I'm teaching you how to be more powerful in your mind and your heart. And I'm telling you, none of you are ready. Not even close. And this is what you're scared of. You're scared of your mission. You're scared of your future. You're scared of the darkness that's in you. That's what you're really scared of. Why? Because you're looking at somebody that does not have your darkness anymore. And it terrifies you. Because the darkness flees from the light. Many of you are terrified about the things I've been saying. In certain ways. And all you can think of is, oh, it's nuts. Nuts like the apostles were in the New Testament. Nuts like Daniel and Moses. They would be called nuts today too. Remember and listen to the sound of my voice. I sat alone and I architected what's going to happen. Before this world began, for a long time. And I know exactly what's coming because of that. And it ain't pretty in a lot of respects. In another case, it's the most beautiful thing there is. We don't want to live in fear. We want to do something about it. And so I got accused too of the bullying stuff, which by the way, I'm not doing anymore. And I'd responded like that because I'd gotten bullied. There's got to be a forgiveness to people that I've helped for a very long time. For the fact that you guys have never dealt with what I just dealt with. Ever. None of you have. Some of you never will. Many of you, though, you will. And it'll be worth it to you like it was worth it to me. Because we need to rebuild society. And it's backwards. In a lot of ways, it's backwards. Not every way. And we can do it together. But not like this. Not running in fear. Not running in cowardice. Not doing anything about all these things that we believe for a long time. And just ignoring them out of it. We think we're ignoring them out of existence. We're headed towards a precipice. Like riding a boat out of the ocean. Only to find that the ocean drops off at the end of the world. Right? We're headed towards a collapse. A collapse that's been architected by evil people for a very long time. However, it was also a collapse that was architected by me before that. Way before that. Because it had to happen from karma. But we don't have to collapse. There's a different way. So if I'm putting a little fear in your heart, maybe it's for the good thing. My wife will not think listening to me this last year and a half was funny if there's a famine and there's no food in Costa Rica. She won't think it's funny at all. The kids will need food. I'm done for now. Beautiful things are coming. Make sure you're right about whatever you think. Same goes to me. But don't you be criticizing me without offering to help. Because that's some major bullshit after how I treated you guys over the years. Some major bullshit. I've never experienced any more bullshit from any group of people than this one in my life.